And I pick up all the calls no matter what. And some guy from City Magazine or City Thing, his name is Jeffrey Colton, called me up. He says, Heshy, you know, they say you have a serious chance of winning now. Of course I have a serious chance. I followed the rules. I learned the game. I break the rules, but I learned how to break it within the box or outside the box, but again, within the box. And he says, but there's a lot of people in the Republican Party, and that's what I want to talk to you about, who say I'm a laughingstock. Now, I asked him, I said, why would you say that? I said, don't you see of all the stuff that I do good? He says, yeah, people tell us you do good, you help people, you feed people, you do charity work. I said, then why am I a laughingstock? Because I make some funny videos? Because I go out and tell the truth? Because I fight back and I stand up for our rights? And that's why I'm going to tell you about the people who signed that declaration. I'm going to tell you about our creation of this great country and this great land. It upsets me. No, I'm sorry. Let me change the wording. It does not upset me. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we try so hard to help and do good and to lead our younger generation, and we're not pushing the word out more. I want not only to push the word out, but I want to make the change myself. I'm not scared to get my hands dirty. I'm not scared to go out and pack those boxes. I'm not scared to walk around with special needs children or serve my community. Or, you know, the other day somebody was making fun of me. Hey, Tishla, you're cleaning bedpans, you're changing bedpans. If that's what they asked me to do and they need me to get it done because nobody else can do it, I will. I'm not one of those politicians that show up to an event and carry a fake box or put in one bicycle a registration number and leave. That's what disappoints me, that you guys are willing to take the game, see the picture, and not see the big picture. Allow them to get away with the abuse that they're getting away from. And I will mention names, and I will talk to you about what happened, and I will repeat stuff that's going on, because we are now at a critical time. We are now right here going on. And right now, my dear friends, I'm looking at the clock. It's 9:05. So we're going to welcome the people. Thank you. Welcome to the Just Enough Heshy Show. We've already started the show with our Instagram and YouTube and Facebook followers. So I want to welcome all the people from WSNR, Channel 620, WJPR, Channel 1640, and, of course, WVIP 93.55. And I want to start this show simple. I want to start it that I want to tell you that I am here to fight for you. June 27th is coming. Spread the word. Yes, the guy tells me today, who called me from the newspaper, you raised the most money and the fastest. How did you do it? I said, if you look at other people, they only got, 100 donators? I got 800 donators. I have people giving me the max amount, but I tell them not to give me too much. I know the people that owe me favors, the clients that I've helped. Today, I was saving a client whose house was going to get demoed. He has 3 days to prepare paperwork. I have a kid that was, he lost his insurance, okay, in his car, and he called me, and I figured it out. On Memorial Day, somebody called me. They needed an emergency passport for kids that won a prize, and they didn't have their passport. And who picked up the call? Who made the calls and tried to connect them to the right people to get them their passports? I am there for you. You know, we had a carnival this Sunday, as you can see in my introduction video. And the two politicians showed up. One of them was doing a bicycle registration, Kalman Yeager, my competitor. And you know what? I'll tell you what, after 2 registrations, he left. He wasn't there. I hung out there with my grandchildren. I'm the one who hung out with a special needs kid and walked him around to special rides. I walked and spoke to people. I wasn't there as a fake. I went, and yes, I hit a baseball as a joke, but that's what the kids wanted. We made funny videos with the kids. You're going to either be responsible or you're not going to be responsible. I was watching Governor Christie, whatever that idiot, he's running against Trump. And you know what he says? He says, sure, he's running against Trump. You know why he's running against Trump? Because he thinks Trump is wrong. But again, he has to run against Trump because that's the way he has to knock Trump. So I'm telling you now, I'm running against Kalman Yeager, and I'm going to run right through him because that's what he's going to do to me. He plays dirty. I don't know why. He told me personally, Heshy, I let people run. Don't campaign against me. And I wasn't going to do it like last time. But he doesn't let the people decide. He plays dirty. He makes up lies. He tries to change the story. He changes the storyline. I'm not changing the storyline. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you all about me. And we're going to start the show. And we're going to talk to you about, again, New York problems, the migrant problems. By the way, the guy from the city newspaper that called me today, he says, Heshy, when you win the election, are you going to be like them or change? Or are you going to stay the same way you are? Because the Republican leadership, like Ted Gore, who's the leader of the Republican Party, and people are saying they want to get rid of him. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm not getting involved in that fight. But yeah, this guy is a double-crosser. This guy is supporting a Democrat, a Republican who wants to change the city, supporting a Democrat. What kickbacks did he get? You know, Ina Vernikova, who's a councilwoman that I liked for a while, she forced at CUNY College, who had a person who got up there to speak hate about Israel and the Jews. Now, she punished them with $20,000. They're worth millions of dollars. Then she forced them to do $1 million in some kind of internet correction, which they could have gotten for free. Where was that money going to? She must have got a kickback, just like she got a kickback from something else. People don't, our objective is to help support these people. It's the truth. My producer could shake his hands, but it's a fact that she made CUNY College spend $1 million on Instagram. She made them spend $1 million on the internet. It's a fact written down. She made CUNY College spend $1 million that we could have spent for grants and other stuff. But we're gonna get away from that. I have a solution to that. If CUNY, I understand the right of free speech, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and all of that stuff. But when they get up in a college to speak to the minds of other people, the freedom of speech, is it allowed to be taken away? Anyways, you have a right to call into the show at 646-974. My producer's going to put that picture up now, 1580, 646-974-1580. Call into the show. Ask me a question. I don't know, maybe your right to the First Amendment or the Fifth Amendment should be blocked when you're speaking at a college graduation. You're there to tell them what you accomplished and how to help others accomplish your goals of college. Maybe if you warn them and they still break it, take away their degrees. Punish them with something. They have no right to get up there and tell us their political issues. They're there just like I saw somebody who got up during one of their award shows. You're here to accept your award and say thank you to your people. You're not here to give us your political ideas. If you want to give us your political ideas, get up and run. Get up and speak and let everybody else speak. 646-974-1580. Call into the show if you feel like it, everybody. We're going to start our show before I read my little speech, and I want to give you my quote. And my quote is simple. My definition of a free society is a society where it is safe to be unpopular. I have no problem being unpopular. I have no problem, as the reporter says, I am a laughingstock. I actually work 18-hour days, not 7-hour days. I work 18-hour days, and I will continue to do so. They say, well, you're going to give up your volunteer work. I will not. You think I'm going to give up my soup kitchens and the boxes that I worked 10 hard years to create? You think I'm going to give up my volunteer work that I've done for 30 years that I love so much to help and talk to those people, that I purposely made it early in the morning and late at night so I can get a regular job? Do you think I'm going to give up my family that I've built so hard over the last 40 years because I'm an elected official? I'm going to continue to work hard as an elected official. My final quote is, liberty means responsibility. That is why most men dread it. They dread their liberty. They dread it. And before I tell you my joke, I want to tell you this thing that I wrote up today. And and I want you to know why the July 4th holiday is so important. We're going to take that caller in a minute. July 4th. Of the 56 people, and I want you guys to be very, very serious and listen to this, because my wife was laughing at me. She said, hey, what do you care about the people who signed the Declaration of Independence? I said, that's the history. That's a teaching lesson for the future, something that I take to heart. Of the 56 people who signed the Declaration of Independence, and you people don't know this, few were long to survive. They didn't survive. 5 were captured by the British and tortured so badly that they died. 12 had their homes from Rhode Island to Charleston sacked, looted, occupied by enemy, and burned. 2 lost their sons in the army. 1 had 2 sons captured. 9 of the 56 died in the war from hardships and bullets. I don't know what you had of the great men that met that summer in Philadelphia. But what I think is important that we should remember about them is this. They were not poor men. They were not wild-eyed pirates. These were men of means. They were rich, most of them. They had enjoyed much ease and luxury. They were prosperous men, wealthy landowners. They had everything to lose. Now listen to this, but they considered liberty. This is as much as I will say. They learned that liberty is so much more important than security. They pledged their lives, their fortunes to this great land and this great idea. So will I, that I have always done, and I always will continue. Do you understand that I believe what liberty is and what tyranny is? I've showed you my past. Maybe I make a joke of it or fun of it, because that's the way to get. It's too serious, this world. And when a mayor or a president or a governor starts treating you bad, you fight back and you make fun of them that it's a joke. That it's a joke. They are a joke to take away our liberty. Now here's my joke of the day. You know, I forgot what kids were like. Even though we had so many foster kids through our life and all that things, I went over to dinner with Linda to my son Moishe's house the other day. And my daughter-in-law, Lecha, was preparing dinner. When my little granddaughter, Mira, came out from outside, she was covered in dirt. And my daughter-in-law says to my granddaughter, Mira, "You need to clean up for dinner." And she looked at her left hand, and then Rachel said, "I've never seen a hand so filthy." And Mira replies, and she lifts up to her right hand, "Well, you haven't seen this one." And it was such a cute answer that we were laughing, and Rachel gave us a dirty look. But, you know, what's really funny is about 3 months ago, my oldest 23-year-old son comes home and says, "Mom, can I borrow $20? I'm sitting there with Linda, and we're laughing. I'm going to take a call in a minute. And Linda says, "Well, do you think I'm made out of money?" And then this kid had the greatest answer. That's why he's a college grad. He says, "MOM, made out of money." You know, Linda was like looking at him. I took out $20 and I gave it to him. That was worth it alone, that smart ideas. I want to give a special shout out to Sergeant Peter. I want to give a special shout out to Mira, Nava, and Ellie, and a special shout out to my beautiful grandson, Yeshua. Go ahead. Let's take a phone call to start this show. Who's calling into the show? Do we have a caller? Hello, caller?
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
My name is Yoel.
I'm losing.
Yoel Moshe. I'm in.
You're what?
I'm well known in a store called Health Emporium. It's on 12th Avenue and 50th Street in Borough Park.
Yes. How are
I hear
you?
a lot about you. I hear a lot of good things about you.
They say I'm a laughing stock. I hope you don't think so.
As a newly inaugurated council member, what exactly do you plan on doing in the next two years, basically, a new member of the council membership, I guess you can say?
Well, you see, that's a great question, Joel, and I'm so happy that you asked that question, and I keep saying it. I have an agenda. I have an agenda right away. My first agenda right away is to stop the red tape in some of the main government agencies like the DOB, the DOT, the DOF. This is the Department of Buildings, the Department of Finance, the Department of Transportation, HPD, which is the Housing Preservation Division, and the health department. These guys spend too much money by doing duplicity. They close their windows at 12:30. So why do we need 5 different sets of people collecting and clerks' money if they don't have enough work and they close at 12:30? They're supposed to be open till 5. We can save right over there $800 million. But wait a minute, I'm not finished yet. They each have 5 commissioners. I mean, I'm talking, there's 300 government agencies, but each agency has this. I'm going to cut the budget and show people how to save $2 billion, just to start off the top of the bat. Then I'm going to tell you, right now they offered me, as a homeowner, as a person, they offered me $60 a day to take in the migrants. Do you believe that? I told them I'm not taking $60 a day. They're going to people. They're spending $300 a day for hotels, but me, they offer $60. I said, if you offer me $300, I'll take in the migrants. So it is possible to house these migrants for 20% of what they're spending now. So you know that they're incompetent. I plan on changing the camera system, which is illegal in the city of New York, to put them only by schools. I want safety. The sheriffs are an organization that is a waste of time in this city of New York. I want to disband the sheriffs and either put them part of the police force and get rid of it. That's so much money that we could save. Those sheriffs during COVID had nothing to do with themselves, so they thought they were police officers. And they arrested and tortured people. Again, another $700 million. We need to take that money and put it into the police force and refund the police, not take away money from our favorite police officers. We need to keep the streets clean so there's a way to set it up that you don't have to ticket them. There's a way to ease traffic congestion, but these people are not using their brains because half of them are stupid. You know, my competitor, Carmen Yegan, I'm going after him. He's a lawyer. He never practiced law. Never. 14 years, he hasn't created any major legislation but raised our taxes by 18%. Our budget went from 2 years ago from $90 billion to $107 billion. I don't know where that $17 billion is coming from besides raising our taxes. We have to look over our budgets. Nobody cares. We have to look over this fake legislation that's coming in. And if I don't accomplish stuff in 2 years, throw me out. I'm willing to go. I'm willing to go in 2 years to get out if I don't accomplish stuff. I plan on working with other people inside the city council. And most of those guys are leaving in 2 years. So I will be one in the leadership, and we're going to try to bring in more people that are not left, that are people that are conservative, not too much to the right. I don't like too much to the right. I want people that are conservative.
One more question.
Go ahead.
One more question. Can I ask it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your opinion on the kids? A lot of kids. I got a lot of kids in my store. Or every once in a while, actually, but sometimes, on certain times of the year, unfortunately, I get kids who come in who have, unfortunately, have high levels of lead in their blood. I know the issue usually is caused by landlords who fail to, renew the paint in the homes that they rent out to the tenants, and also the pipes that lead to the drinking water of the children, and also the showers. What do you have to say about that?
So we do have inspectors who are too busy giving violations and not actually helping them and guiding the people. You know, when an apartment has to be renovated, and it's supposed to be every 2 or 3 years to be painted, so the landlord should take care of that issue. And most apartments are done over properly. Especially today, we don't have the lead paints, and we don't have the asbestos in the roofing, only like 0.005%. So these things should be checked, and they do sign documents for these that they did do it, or they have to show proof. I know, because I'm receiving a landlord, and I do the same thing. You're right. The responsibility is to the landlord. But again, we can give a small fee for every single homeowner. You know, there's so much money we give out for rent. There's so much money we give out for food stamps. We can give out for each apartment $100, $200 for a tenant to go testing his apartment and not come make a complaint. Hand it to the landlord and say, here, landlord, here's the deal. If you don't take care of it within 90 days, we're allowed to deduct from the rent. And you have to hire somebody with a license. You can't just hire any fly-by-night guy. A lot of people hire these fly-by-night guys, and they give in their things. We need to have responsible, licensed people. They'll come to you for $200. Right now, they have people doing gas test inspections, walking around to check pipes. So you can do the same thing that landlords, to hire people that the landlord has to give in a report that they hired somebody for $85 or $200 to check for the lead. And if it comes up, the landlord has to fix it. If the report says they're clean, I hire people every time I rent out an apartment. I hire and I check for mold.
For free, actually. There's a way to get it done for free.
This is a way to be done for free. 311, but 311 is not for free. 311 is a complaint to the landlord, and the landlord gets a fine.
I did it before. I called 311. They actually let me test the water in my house. Actually, came out to what was it again? 8 parts per billion. The water would remain stagnant for 6 hours. And if it lacked stagnation, it would come out to 2 parts per billion. Or if we ran the water for 2 minutes, it would go to 2 parts per billion.
Well, again, I don't know how these home testing works. I don't like them so much. You have to hire professionals to do that. And I believe that it should be free testing by the professionals only. And I thank you for your call, caller. But I just want you to know that this is very important stuff. I agree with that. You know, I agree with window guards. You should have them in there, but a lot of the tenants take it out, and then you get a violation on it. You got to, of course, always be safe. You're a grown man and woman. The vaccines they're saying today, I was just listening to doctors, that the vaccines are causing liver trouble, brain trouble, heartaches, that the vaccines have to be stopped, and not by one doctor. Hundreds and hundreds of doctors are telling you that this vaccine is a danger. And still the city's pushing it. Till they find out it's no good. Now, a lot of us took it. We can take it. Most of us are very strong and healthy in this world. We can take it, but the weaker ones can't. We need to fight back. We need to know if something is not good for us, like if you believe that you have lead testing or mold. Every apartment that I rent out, I always check for mold before I rent it. I always hire a professional licensed person to make sure there's no mold there. These are the things we have to do. Anyways, I want to talk about the COVID. You know, today we had, there were fires in Canada that blew a lot of smoke, and it was foggy all over. And people said, you have to wear masks. Somebody called me and says, Heshy, you go out there. We tried to call Councilman Yeager, who never picks up his phone anyways. And they said, you go out there and tell everybody to wear masks. I will not. You're grown people. You know what you have to do. My grandson, we put away in the house because we were scared of it a little bit. I was not scared. I was out there. I was at a wedding tonight with a few hundred people before I came to the show. The air was good and it was a little foggy up there. I understand that. I understand that you should be scared that the fires from Canada came here, but it's in the open air. It could affect us. I don't know what's going on. 1 minute we have to wear masks. I don't agree. You're a grown person and you know how to handle it. They informed you of what's going on. Do whatever you got to do. You know, I was driving in the city yesterday and I saw a few people wearing masks. I don't understand them. I say, why are you still wearing masks? It's not COVID. Well, they tell us that the minorities are more susceptible to COVID. Now, I said there's no more COVID. All of a sudden today I'm reading a report in the papers that they're testing our wastewater. To the early caller who just called, they're testing our waste and they're finding COVID in the waste. Really? You're tasting the stuff that comes out of our bodies, the filth of our bodies, and you're testing if there's COVID? Of course it's diseased. It is waste. And you're testing it in wastewater where dogs and other animals and goldfish and other stuff, they dump in there. So you're telling me you found COVID? You found something, but you didn't find COVID. So they're trying to scare us, but they're never going to be able to bring back COVID. They're never able to get us back there. That I promise you. That I promise we're never going to be let there. And I'm going to also, when I get into city council, try to beg the members of the council to take away the emergency powers of a mayor, never to allow him to shut down our city. I'm a grown man. I keep repeating it. I'm a grown man, and you have no right to do that to us. I want to talk to you about one other very important thing. You know, we spent $250 million plus more in Ukraine. I mean, there's a lady who is a Ukrainian who's a multi-billionaire and a friend of Putin. And they say she put Putin up to it. She put Putin up to it. I mean, of course, it's always greed and money and stuff like that. But I don't understand why we just can't let them live in peace. There was really no war. Ukraine was doing well. They were not being bigoted to the Russian people who live there. Russia did not need to take back the Crimea, but they got it back. War is stupid. And this war, they're all saying it could escalate like all the other wars. There's something going on with this war. There's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Because the sanctions are not hurting Russia, and we knew that all along. We knew Russia is a big, powerful country. Like if you want to give sanctions to America, it's a joke. We laugh at you. You're going to sanction America? We don't care. We don't care because we have everything we want. The problem is we give away everything we want and we buy back from other countries to make them live. Like I told you, we spend the most money in defense, 25 more than the next 25 countries, and they're all our allies. I want to tell you that today there was a spy that died. His name was Robert Hansen. He was one of the worst spies ever. One of the notorious traitors. He got like $1 million in cash and diamonds. He died today in the maximum security prison in Colorado. Do you think he's the only one? Did they set him up? Was it true? I believe it was, by the way. But secrets today can go out all along. You know, today I was setting up my Instagram and my campaign manager says, even though you didn't push the button, they can still listen in on you. They can still watch you. You have to be very careful out there because the Fourth Amendment does not allow them to do that to you. Now, I don't agree with spying and I don't agree being a traitor to this great country. But sometimes you make up stories like by Trump. Oh, do you actually, it bothered me day after day, the Russian collusion. And still nobody says a word about it. The Russian collusion that one of our presidents, he was president of the United States. And he's a traitor. And he had a right to pardon himself anyways. Or his vice president. And here's another idiot. Mike Pence today, the first vice president to ever run against his own president. He actually announced today that he's running for president. The man has no chance whatsoever. Nobody's going to do it. I can't wait for Trump to be a president. I hope he pardons all those people from January 6th because today they arrested somebody else. I mean, we saw what went on January 6th. You know, we didn't scream about the Black Lives Matter breaking into stores. We didn't worry about them looting our own personal stuff. But when they go into the Capitol, and they didn't even loot, but if they would have, they get arrested. So you didn't arrest all those people from the street? You didn't arrest the person who came to my house to attack me till he started attacking other people? You know, we have no ethics. We're here for the money. We're here for the game. I'm not here for the game. I'm not here for the money. I don't need it. I'm here for my liberty. I believe in my liberty so much, and that's what I'm trying to stress to you people. July 4th is coming, so you should remember it. You should remember that I'm not a laughing stock. You watch my 2 videos, I want to make you happy. I want to make you happy, and I want to welcome all the new viewers that are joining up on Instagram and YouTube. We must continue doing good. We've created a great nation. We're sinking not because of the greatness that we have in us. We're sinking because we're allowing people to get over on us. Government, it's not like I'm talking about big conspiracy. Once you get into this brotherhood, nobody's watching. You know, the head of the Republican Party in Brooklyn, his name is Ted Gora. Like I told you before, he's supporting a Democrat. He must have gotten something. He keeps saying he wants Republicans in. He supports certain Republicans that support Democrats, like ENOUGH HESHY. She actually supports Carmen Yeager, not one of her own people. Now she's putting somebody else in. She's helping somebody else. She raised almost no money. She's getting matching funds. People don't even want to support her. They're going to vote for her because the other person, Igor, running against her, doesn't really have the funding. And Ina is in the city council, so she's using her powers to get further. You can't play both sides of the coin. You can't do it. You can't play both sides. There's a team. One team has to win. And the Republican Party is not cohesive here, and there's a reason why. We have so many supporters. We have more people who are registered now in Brooklyn, in my community, than the Democrats. But you have to come out to vote. You have to come out to support us. You have to have the Republicans come out to support us. I'm sending out mailers. I'm sending out flyers. I'm talking to the people. I'm calling you guys. I want you to be ready. How do you allow a Democrat who has Democrat values, who flip-flops on the issues constantly? You know, he makes believe his father went around and complained on Twitter, which his son, Carmen Yeager, posted during COVID. I'm walking around the Jewish neighborhood, and this guy's a religious Jew, and I don't see anybody wearing masks. Now, when you tweet such a thing, do you not think the police and the mayor are not looking at this? Do you not think the news reporters are looking on this and coming in to give you a hard time and to fine you and punish you? What's going on here? You can't keep ratting on your community and getting away with it. Now, I want to tell you something. The mayor's office came out with something interesting on crime. They said they previously shared with the Monitor that there was a serious concern with the methodology of how the shootings were going up in New York during Mayor de Blasio. They were in double digits. But if you remember, under Mayor de Blasio, the man said crime is down. Shootings are down. Now Mayor Adams says no, that the shootings were doubled. And now shootings are down now. I want to just tell you, it's June 7th today. We had over 500 shootings, 356 fatalities in New York City. And it's only a half a year. We're going to hit the 2,000 number because I bet you that some of the shootings are not even reported. You're telling me crime is down, Mr. Mayor? Crime is not down in New York City. Nobody cares what you have to say. You're just too busy suing us and fining us and ticketing us. I told you last week I went to the city to drive. I volunteer for an organization that makes me give rides to sick people. They don't have service, so people call them up, then I have to go to the doctor or the hospital. So they offer people one-way rides. I'm one of the volunteers twice a week that they give me a time. I pick these people up. I drop them off at the doctor or I pick them up. And I usually do it on Tuesdays and I usually do it Thursday mornings. So I picked them up, I dropped them off, and I go on my merry way. I had to drop off an old lady in the city on Church Avenue over there. And when I dropped them off, a lady was standing by the no standing sign. No standing. That's what it said. So all I did was drop the lady off, got out of the car, opened the door for her, and got back in, and I was sitting there. She's taking pictures. That's her. She's doing all day long. And I followed her. She's taking pictures of every car up and down. And I laughed. She says, "Oh, I have an app. I'm a police officer." Then she denies. She says, "Oh, I'm a citizen reporter." And she took pictures and submitted it in. Now, according to what I understand the law is, you have to see me idling. You have to see me idling with my car on. She took a picture, not a video. I actually got a $50 ticket in the mail. In the Manhattan, you can only make a right turn when you're in the right lane. You can't put the blinker on from the middle lane because the cops actually catch you and pull you over. So you got to go into the bus lane and put your blinker on. If a bus pulls up behind you, he pushes the camera, $115 ticket. My friend got 2 of them. He says, "But Heshy, I was making the right turn." I said, "No, you have to go fight it." But again, you can't win these tickets. It's unacceptable, these stupid laws. It's unacceptable. Crime is up. Mask mandates coming back. It just never ends. What I want to tell you is, guys, I want to talk about a serious issue in New York City, the migrants. We have to bring it up again and again and again and again. We have 80,000 homeless people, and I was talking to a lot of people. 60,000 kids, 60,000 adults, 20,000 children. We now have 72,000 migrants and more coming in. They're willing to pay us $60 to homeowners, but they're willing to pay the hotels $300 per person per day. Per day. Okay? You don't even have to feed them. So where's they getting more money for that? Now, here's my problem. This is going to cost us another $4 billion. Where's this coming from? It's coming from us. They're going to raise our property taxes. They're going to raise our ticket prices. They're going to just get us across the board. And it just keeps coming. There is no solution. They should come up with a solution. I've had solutions for the homeless issue by creating new kind of building housing and not in middle of residential neighborhoods and not using existing hotels where people need it for tourist attractions. There are areas where we can put the homeless and not like a prison kind of a camp. Make it into senior centers. Give them the acreage that's not being used in certain areas and make it look nice. You're spending all that money by housing them. Spend the money by building proper and competent housing. And we've done it. It's not like it hasn't been done. My own architect and my team have designed 2 of them that we got funding for. And it's run cheaper. But people know how to suck money. You know, I have relatives in the old age home and nursing home business. And again, I keep telling you, they keep saying we're understaffed. I said, you're billionaires, you're millionaires. Make a little bit of more money. You don't need to get more money. Budget yourself well. I budget myself. We all have to struggle. You have a good job. You get your taxes paid. Figure out a way to do it correctly. You're getting quite a bit of money now that you're approved on. But they don't want to do that. They just want to suck more and spend less and let people live in squalor and garbage. I don't agree with any of this. And we have to have oversight committees. You know, I was in my office this week and we had an office lunch. And they're saying, Heshy, how are you going to oversee the building department? What is your rule with the building department? So when you file a set of plans, and this is just red tape like many organizations. You file a set of plans, you're sitting with an architect, you spend tens of thousands of dollars, and you submit these plans. They're supposed to be perfect, but you have an expert doing it. And the Himosabi, like me, has a whole team of 14 people that review it, and there's like 20 different documents just to submit the plan. Then when it gets in there, another 20 documents for responsibilities. And if you make one wrong X, they can look it over and get you in trouble. So we relook at the paperwork. Then it goes to this examiner who just denies your plan. Never have I seen, maybe once or twice over the last 10 years, does a plan get approved right away. So they give you a hardship and they give you back your it's called objections. Till you get another appointment with this examiner, which took you 10 days to get there, is another month. Then you answer the objections, and again, he gives you a denial, but you answer the direct objections. The red tape goes back and forth, and it could take 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I'm dealing now with an organization, a part of a unit called the FEU unit, the forensic unit. For 1.5 years, this guy can't build. I helped the synagogue. That took 15 years till I took over the job, and it took us 2 years. We have to address these issues and hold these people responsible, that you can't just hold the citizens of New York as hostage. So they're telling me how you're going to do it. I want to create like a community board. You know, community boards are created and run by the city council. These community boards, the members are civil citizens. They get $25 for each meeting they go to. They come to the meetings. They vote on community issues. We should create that each examiner and each building department should have this civil thing that reviews the plans that have come in every month from each examiner. And if the examiner is not doing his job properly, we fire him. These examiners have to have 5 years, 7 years experience, just like us, to get their license. You can't just hire somebody out of school and train him. I don't care if he's there for 5 years. They hire plumbing inspectors that have no plumbing experience to watch licensed plumbers that have been doing the work for 30 years. And they come up with the dumbest things. Today, somebody gave me an objection for one smoke detector in a big, gigantic house. I said, really? Everywhere there's a smoke? Well, you have to have a smoke detector in every bedroom. I said, I showed you 10 different rooms. Everyone had a smoke detector. This room is the master bedroom, and they took it off. Something maybe with the kid or the baby, or it wasn't working. You don't fail a whole house because of one smoke detector. Well, we'll give you a certifiable objection. I said, till we finish this in the paperwork, it's another 2 or 3 weeks. It's not fair. Why don't you just make it uncertifiable and have us uploaded but pass us? If we don't submit the documentation on the final C of O, you can hold it back and say not submitted. But don't hold up the process and say pass till we submit this in. These are the things that the city does. I have a health inspector that I was watching the other day in a restaurant, and he tested everything in the store. The temperatures were right of the food. The place was spick and span clean. I know because I helped prepare them for their inspection. Everything was perfect. They were an A. He gave them a B because they had 3 different violations. You know, it's a busy restaurant, so people use the paper towels a lot. Plus, he has a hand blower. If you run out of paper towels, it's a $750 fine, and it's some points on your license. He also had an issue that one of the bathrooms were a little dirty. You know, little kids. I have an office over here that has 20 people working in. Children, special needs children come in and out all the time. And I clean and mop, but how many times can I go clean and mop and move the garbage? And when I come back, sometimes in the afternoon or the evening to check the bathroom, because I don't use it all day long, it's dirty again. You can't, even though you can't just hire a person. Like you're complaining that they're understaffed, but when we're understaffed in a regular restaurant trying to service the people and take care of the customers correctly, you give us a fine. But you don't give the fine when they're killing people in hospitals and hotels. I mean, and old age homes and nursing homes. You don't hold them responsible. It's such a double standard that we need oversight. And I plan on sitting on the committee to create more oversight, to create independent citizens that want to be part of the community but want to stay quiet. And they don't have to meet every day, once a month, like the community board, twice a month to do reviews. People that work with them, but again against them. Like me, I'm an HPD receiver. I'm the enemy of the DOB and the HPD. Now I work for them. I oversee them. I scream at them. I had a fight with the director and one of the contractors. And then I ended up making a deal that was fair. And they said, well, you can't do whatever you want. I said, you know what? If you don't do it, then fire me, or I'm not going to give them back their money. And I held them back till the deal was done. Now, you're right. I had to compromise a little bit. But the point is I made sure that both sides got treated fairly. I did not let the government push their red tape. I did not let them piss away tens of thousands of dollars, like $126,000, when the building wasn't serviced and the tenants weren't being serviced and they were having issues. We need more people like that. And you know how much I make? A couple of $100 to do it. Everybody says, why do you do it? I feel it's my responsibility to do as much as I can in the expertise that I am. I do a lot of pro bono work. I do a lot of it, but I do make money. I do make money on the other stuff. And we must worry about so many different items. We must worry about the people of this city, not give away money for abortions to other cities. Somebody says to me, Heshy, and I had an inspector, it was yesterday. Matter of fact, he says, Heshy, you know, you Republicans don't believe in abortion. I said, no. We have an opinion in ourselves that we don't. Not everybody is like that. I do not believe in abortion. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't believe in living out of marriage. I don't believe that living together with a woman is correct. I mean, to move in together and run a family. Now, that's my personal opinion. The beautiful thing about the Declaration of Independence and our great country and all that is it allows you to pursue happiness, to pursue liberty, to pursue your freedom. So I'm not stopping you. I'm telling you what I believe in and what I should do. So don't stop me. Anyways, we have a caller. Let's take a caller. Who's on the phone?
It's me, Uncle Lenny.
Hello, Uncle Lenny. How are you? Hi, I missed you. How is everything? Did you hear what I talked about? The founder of this great country. Do you know did you saw the numbers? How many of them gave up their monies in the pursuit and all of that stuff to give us our freedoms? And then again, they want to take it away from you. People, again, a guy called me today. Tell everybody to wear masks. I don't have to tell anybody, Lenny. You're smart enough. You want to wear a mask, you don't want to wear a mask. You're smart enough to take care of yourself.
I mean, I've been listening to the show. You touched on this, you touched on that. But I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you know that this governor of ours has appointed an openly male transgender as a judge? I don't want to put you on the spot. You're running for an office. But Lenny is saying this. What the hell is our country becoming? If a person, and I listen, I still can't wrap this around my head. You're born a boy, you want to be a girl. You're born a girl, you want to be a boy. How the hell do you appoint somebody that doesn't even know what their own body consists of to a position as a judge?
And you do know, not only you're not wrong, but you know that the numbers on transgender, homosexuality, when you're gay,
I'm not talking about that.
I got that, but I'm just giving you numbers now that even gay people have some issues with their mental problems. I'm not knocking. You want to be gay, I can't stop you. You know what I mean? I don't believe
exactly.
I don't
If
I don't
you're
believe
gay,
it. I don't
come into my house. If you're my friend, I make dinner for you.
I let you do anything. But Lenny, the transgender population has a 70% higher rate of suicide. That means these people are constantly considering suicide.
But Heshy,
so you're right.
Is what I'm
so
saying.
I'm saying you can't appoint
You're now
somebody.
going to make one of them a judge. You're going to make a person that doesn't know what his own body is telling him to be a person who's in charge of a decision that may be affecting me or you. I mean, really, let's take the bull by the horns and let's say there's something wrong with society.
But Lenny,
the
look what.
Vietnam
But Lenny,
veterans, the World War II veterans, any serviceman gets 1 day of the 365 days. They get 1 day. Pride gets a whole month. Again, I'm not taking away from anyone.
Lenny, stop. The problem with the Pride is they're less than 2% of the population. And here's my problem. They forced Target and they forced a lot of other stores to put out the special clothing that nobody's buying anyways. You know what I mean? You have no right to force it. But again, the government and our governor and mayor lets it. I saw the mayor wear one of these colorful pimp jackets a couple of months ago. I mean, I don't care what you want to wear, Mr. Mayor or Mr. Governor. You can't force my store to do it. And when I go in there with my kids, you can't force them to sell a gay section that's not even going to make money because that's what you're going to close them down or give them a hard time.
You want to know what a good friend of mine happens to be gay. You want to know what he told me? If he knew about this transgender stuff that was coming out, and all this negativity that it's bringing, he would have stayed in the closet. Listen, I stress this. If you're gay, God bless you. You're welcome in my house, at my table. You are who you are, and I respect that. But with the transgender and throwing it down my throat, like Anheuser-Busch,
right.
27%
but you see,
down
Lenny,
in stocks.
But Lenny,
Target.
But Lenny, you're not understanding. What they're doing to you is they're trying to throw you off balance. The elite, corrupt people want to trick you and refocus you on something.
Oh, they'll never trick me. I think you know me better than that.
But they're tricking the main public. Like the Trump lie, like I was talking to the beginning of the show. I mean, I mean, didn't you understand that it's just stupid what they're saying? And they actually news channels like CNN, Fox, MSNBC, ABC, they reported on it, and they actually spent one special prosecutor spent $40 million to investigate if Trump was in collusion with Russia, which you could have figured out the first minute was a lie. You know, you have problems but every president has taken home classified documents. Again, they take it home.
What about Biden? He was the vice president, and he took home these documents. He wasn't entitled to do that.
Right.
So here's the vice president, who's now president of the United States, took home these documents when he didn't even have the authority to. It's so one-sided politics.
It's not even one-sided. Look, it's not. You see, media. But Lenny, you keep saying one-sided. It's not one-sided. It's a dirty game. Look at Chris Christie. He wanted to work with Trump. He helped Trump. He thought he'd get a Trump job, and Trump didn't give it to him because he's really a corrupt governor with the Bridge Gate. And now he's running for, and he's talking bad about Trump.
Something to you? Could I say?
Do you even like Chris Christie? The guy is a pure idiot.
In there and Mike Pence in there. You know what? It's votes for Trump. Because if you don't like Trump and you want an alternative, they're going to press the lever for Pence. They're going to press the lever for Christie. So all those votes inevitably will be Donald Trump's votes. Think about it, Heshy. I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but you have DeSantis. You have DeSantis that everybody says he's great, which
I don't think he's ready. I just don't think he's ready. I think there's enough people that like Trump's first term. You know, I think that people are fed up with all this negativity. Trump, how much could you hate an ex-president? There's got to be people on your community and my community that just say, you know what, enough. I'm going to vote for the guy just because I can't stand this anymore. Right. And I hope that's what happens.
I hope that's what happens.
We're a safer nation.
Yeah. A safer world, a safer Lenny, stop. Lenny.
I don't think that North Korea would have been doing it. China is buzzing our airplanes. They're cutting off our ships, our battleships.
Stop, Lenny.
This would have never happened under Donald Trump, and everybody was afraid he was going to jump into another war.
Lenny, we were We were a safer world. That's all you had to say, and we were a more prosperous world, and it could have been more prosperous. Somehow, the people didn't. These government people who are partners there, the guy in the charging saying, "Look, you little guys are not going to make any money. You little guys are not going to go further, so you got to join us, or you got to say this, or they send other people to support, like George Soros. He gives them money and says, listen, you can do whatever you want, but if you go that way, you won't get this funding and you won't come back to this easy job. You know, my competitor, Carmen Yeager, has never had a real day job. Never worked ever besides working for a politician's office. Never practiced real law. Doesn't really understand what it is. You know, he went out to, I told you, the carnival. He made one bicycle and he went home. Spent the whole day at the carnival with the kids.
I did it as a cop.
Yeah.
Going to those things. They show up, they get their picture taken, and it's, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, hasta la vista, baby.
Right. And this is a game that they play constantly, and they take credit for everything they do. They don't work with the special needs kids. Today I had the guy who called me about wearing masks because of the smoke and inhalation. And I said, did you call Carmen Yeager's office? He says, Carmen doesn't pick up the phone. I said, I knew that all along. But the point is, even though I didn't agree with the mask things, he wanted all the kids to be locked up in the house. I said, the parents know what they're doing. I did not see the issue being so bad out there. I think that as a parent, you don't want to take your baby out there because you're scared about it. But I'm not going to let you lock us down. I'm not going to let you force us into masks. It is my decision. It is my, I mean, we were at war here many times. Inside this country, bombs and so on.
Before I get cut off, I got some kind of text message today or whatever. Did you hear that Mayor Adams now wants to house some of these migrants in fire stations? I don't know if that's true. Did you hear about that?
I heard some stupid gossip about that already last week.
I don't know if it's true.
It's not possible. He can't do that. I mean, you can't put them. Maybe some of the firehouses that they closed down.
He's doing it in schools.
Schools. I know.
Them in schools.
He's crazy.
He wants
And
to
but
put
but
people
but
in
but
schools
Lenny, if you want to
that
make
haven't been vaccinated but has fired police, EMS, and firemen.
yeah. But Lenny, if you want to make some money,
Yet he wants to bring these people in contact with children.
Lenny, if you want to make some money, the city offers us now to house the migrants in our own homes
I
for
know, all my friends pull me up.
$60 a day. And somebody said, would you do it? I said, no. He says, would you do it for any amount of money? And then I sat and thought, I said, yeah, $300 a day per migrant is $9,000. I take in 3 migrants because I now have 3 bedrooms, and I can make myself $27,000 a month, $250,000, what, $300,000 a year by just bringing these guys in. I'll even feed them. You know what I mean? I'll even feed them for $300. But that's my point. But you won't let us. But one minute, Lenny, but Lenny, stop. Lenny, listen. My problem with it is even if we accept the deal by the mayor and he's willing to pay us, my problem is the rule of, and we're coming to the end for a lot of our listeners on the radio, so I want you to hear this. The housing and the DOB says that if you rent your house as a boarding house, you have to have a sprinkler system, and they violate you and they vacate your house if you take in illegal boarders or rent to Airbnb more than one family at a time. Here, the mayor's letting me rent out rooms in my house to 3 different people like a hotel. Why is the mayor allowed to do that and not us on a regular basis to a guy from Canada that could charge $150 a night? I'll tell you why. Because they're not normal. They're abusing us. They're taking advantage of us. And we sit there like lambs and we let them punish us. This mayor has to go too. I thought he was a good mayor. He doesn't, not that he's incompetent. He doesn't know how to solve problem. His team knows how to sell him. And of course, he's again a minority, so we're scared to say anything bad about Mayor Adams.
I see in the Post today, they're putting out machines that are going to sell crack pipes.
Oh, Lenny, I drove in the city yesterday and I saw 3 dispensaries. I actually wanted to go into one and see if they'd sell it to me right off the top of the head. But I was ashamed because I thought maybe somebody would see me, and I didn't even want to walk in. It disgusted me that it was even open. I can't hear you so well. You're coming in low. Lenny, you're coming in low, Lenny. Hang up on Lenny. I can't hear him. Producer, I can't hear him. Anyways, my friends, thank you from the 3 stations that have joined us. I know you're going to be going off the air right now. Join us back next week, and it'll be great while I continue with my, we have 5 more minutes for the YouTube and Instagram and Facebook fans. So thank you, and come back next week. Now, guys, before I end this show, I want to tell you something serious. And Lenny touched on a lot of points here. It's not what he was talking about, housing the migrants in firehouses. It's not what he's talking about in schools. He's not even talking about the vaccines and the things that are bringing up. There are serious issues, what Lenny has to say. What Lenny's point is, and my point is that when we come up with solving of the problems, they don't listen. We have real solutions because we're the real people. They come up with solutions that will create revenue for them, or create revenue for their people that supported them. Ina Vernikova, and I'm telling you for a fact, she gets $1.5 million to give out donations like Kalman Yeager. They're offering people $5,000, or she's promising with Kalman Yeager future people that if they support her and give a donation, she's going to take her money and give $5,000 to their different organizations or stores or their charities. That is not right. She's bribing them to give her a donation. Of course, I'm going to give you $175 if you give me back $5,000 or get your people to do it. This is not the way that money's supposed to be used. And it's the fact that she's going around doing that. Ina Vernikova has to... Why are you shutting off my radio? I don't agree with Ina Vernikova. I don't like Ina Vernikova. I'm not saying anything bad about her. I don't want to support Ina. I don't want to support Kalman. I don't want to support these people that go against us. I don't like them. I don't like Ari Kagan, even though Ina's against him. These are people that have the intentions just for themselves. In the last 2 years, just tell me what they've accomplished. I'm not even going to tell you bad about them. Tell me what they've done good, besides getting on the city council and making a no-hate day. Do you know I have leasing companies that are scared they're going to go out of business because of the laws that are coming on? They don't protect them. I have people that are going to lose their houses because their taxes have gone up and they can't even afford food for themselves and they're getting by barely. They're threatening to shut off the water if they raise their water bills. But you're giving away $4.5 billion to migrants. You're giving away $2 billion extra to government agencies that have duplicity. You keep an organization, the sheriffs around, that don't even belong to exist. They're incompetent fools who are not real police officers. They're fake police officers. I hate the sheriffs, especially what they did during COVID. They could have fought back. They could have gone back against the people, but they did not. And you know why they didn't? Because they were greedy for their jobs. When you're pursuing liberty and you're pursuing happiness, you have no right to take it away from others. And this is what my constant fight is. So when the guy in the beginning of the show asked me, what am I going to do? I'm going to fight for liberty. I'm going to create and try to fight the congestion. This congestion pricing, that's one of the first things I have to fight. How do we pay a toll to go from one side of the block to the other side of the block? It's the dumbest idea. Just raise car prices or revenue. Add $100 on to all the cars. You'll make your money back. But you can't keep ticketing and tolling the people who work so hard. Anyways, my dear friends, I hope you enjoyed the show. June 27th, and I want this to pop up on your screen, heshytishler.com. You can support me, not support me, send a donation, do whatever you want to do. But I need people to help me. I'm looking for 50, 60 volunteers to come stand at the poll sites. So you can call the show at 646. I even forgot the number. Do you believe it? What's the phone number there? 646-974-1580. You can call and leave a number on our voicemail or call into the show during the week, and we pick up the calls. You can call you can write an email on my website, heshytishler.com. It should be coming up. heshytishler.com, and say you want to come volunteer. I'm looking for volunteers. Come down June 27th. I don't care if you're from any district. Come and volunteer. You're allowed to. You might not be able to vote for me. Come down and help me win this. Let me show you what I could do. I'm not promising you I can do anything. I'm telling you I'm going to try my best to get it done. When the other politicians get in there and they just chat and talk and talk and talk. They lie. Lie, lie, lie. Anyways, everybody, we're going to play the music. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week. I love you all. Watch my show again. Thank you so much.